To go here. Kazna crew are the red side defending against GoHard, the blue side attacking. GoHard have the purple and black camouflage. Kazna crew have the black and white camouflage.
At the moment, Kazna is really dispersing. They send two mediums, no less, toward the island side. So they abandoned the village completely, wanted to do pressure from the lower parts. And look at the damage taken.
Stefan was trading with Kaizu there, but Coca-Collapse was also able to help him, so Stefan has already lost for Kazna crew. Kazna crew have lost their TVP. We can see Nexus and Komi Piotr here wanting to push up and help, trying to get shots onto Karibari, but not able to find anything. They are exposed as the autoloaders come back in here from GoHard. Failware and Maga want to get shots into these tanks. We see reinforcements in the shape of Haiba and Diplomat coming around, but Ders and Vetso, you can look on the minimap, they're flanking around on Annihilator, and whilst GoHard might win the hill, they could get surrounded here by Kazna crew.
The point is exactly in those two mediums who were the play from Kazna from the start. They actually charged there and they used all the other tanks just to hold off the GoHard tanks. They didn't, of course, rely on losing Stefan there. That was too early. But they are actually winning this game by far now because the GoHard having Arti, they're actually outnumbered now.
Karibari's now been singled out on the hill between Diplomat, Nexus and Call Me Piotr. He has nowhere to go. Diplomat's going to come off reload, get a shot into him. Nexus is going to probably get the killing one, or Piotr, one of the two. It's Nexus who gets that killing shot. Kazna crew have wrestled control back here of the game as Zafarchik picks up Nexus, is back to 4-on-4, but GoHard, one of those tanks, is an artillery.
Yes, and he's in reload. Soon these tanks will mostly be RT safe, and they will just pressure with their HP and superior number of guns on GoHard tanks. This game is over.
Dare's getting the kill on Maga. We now have only Failware and Zafarchik left. Failware goes down swinging as Vetso gets the final kill. Zafarchik, what can you do? Can you make a connection? He's not even really aiming at someone. He can perhaps get a kill on Diplomat here or even do a bit of damage on Dares. But how long is it going to take to do that? It's just a numbers game at the moment as Kazna crew have taken this one and taken it quite comfortably. That overmatch there by Dares, and I think it was Stefan coming round, and Dares and Vetso it was.
No, Vetso and Dares.
Yeah, getting the pick onto Annihilator was really, really important.
Yes, but that was their mind play from the start. As we said on the start of the game, they had potentially the lineup to go toward the hill. It was not the fastest one, but it was durable.
Yeah.
Having those two Ice Wars, it takes quite a lot of time to kill them. They're good at angling. There is a high chance that heat shells will just bounce off their tracks and so on. Even if RT hits them, it's not a huge damage because they are very well armored. So they sent two tanks really aggressive toward the water. That was a bit of a blind play because they relied that most of the GoHards or even all of their tanks will go up the hill having the RT, so they will need the numbers there. And they were just playing super aggressive, just making sure that the tanks on the hill will not have the reloads and they will not notice those mediums on time. Once they manage to do that pincer attack, usually people just go from the hill to do from around the village to do the pincer attack, but this was better version, I'd say. Once they did it, it was already over.
Yep, I mean, it was timed really well. They lost Stefan because Stefan traded with the TVPs, and then when the single shooters came up, then the bat chats from GoHard came back, and then they were clipping into the single shooters. But the minute they came off reload, Ders and Stefan had already wiped out Annihilator, and they could come off reloads, and it just swung straight back into Kazna's favour. It was a nice team fight. I mean, Kaizu...
Brilliant damage there.
He took a lot of damage at the start, actually. He was the first one to be shot at, but survived long enough. Ders picking up 3 kills in the bat chat. He was one of the 2 tanks flanking. Failware, I mean, Failware's one of these players we always see coming consistently top damage for these teams, like the Unji for Gunrunners. You can pretty much always bank on him being top 3 damage. Sadly, Annihilator coming in there 11th and Karibari 12th. I wouldn't want to be Daki and have both of them in my fantasy team at the moment, but hey, it's only round 1 here. Who knows what can happen for the rest of the rounds. I think you and Daki also have Zafarchik as well.
Thank you for pointing it out.
Sorry, I mean, Daki did this to me yesterday all the time,
yes,
you know?
Yes, we actually do have Zafar. I was hoping he will manage to do at least one shot while they were approaching, but he chose just to die. What a pleb.
It happens. It happens. We know
Fight till the end, man.
We know he always plays scouts, and I mean they have a lot of matches this weekend, so it can still work in your favour. It's going to be interesting to see how the scores lie after this weekend in fantasy.
Well, the greatest disappointment for me is that Spoink is not playing at all, because that will cost all 3 of us in overall.
I'm disappointed, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me that much because you guys also picked him.
Yeah, but it will cost us all compared to the overall standings quite a lot, because that's playing a 6-player lineup again. not a
Yes.
7-1.
After we just tried to get 7 players,
Yes,
yeah.
and that's nonsense then. And then that zone was in my lineup. He was swapped in and out, in and out. He didn't have the greatest games. In the first match he played, he didn't didn't end up on top 14 list. But never mind that. That's another matches. This is Kazna and GoHard and lineups
Yes,
are ready.
let's focus on a moment. The lineups are ready here for round 2 on Mines. Kazna crew are now going to attack against GoHard on the defense, and it's pretty much standard lineups again here, Mojo, yeah?
GoHard playing here with the 3 budgets, one being tier 9, baby budget, and TVP, okay. Ice 4, yeah, this is a rather lineup that you can defend the village with pretty much. I don't believe they will go toward the hill with this. While Kazna here playing with 2 1-1-3s and the Kranwagen, again, offensive lineup without using of Arti.
Okay, let's jump into round 2 here. Kazna crew on the red side are attacking, GoHard on the blue side defending. Kazna have that awesome white and black camouflage, and GoHard have the super amazing purple and black camouflage. Almost like our jacket and shirt combo, Mojo. Failware doing that climb nice and easy, making it look nice and easy, but he has to be careful, can't go up too far, because Stefan and Ders will be ready to shoot him in the face if he keeps carrying on.
Well, Stefan and Ders managed to climb up well. Failware is gonna get damaged now. Wow, wow, wow. That's 2, but he is safe now.
He's safe-ish. Can he get over the next bit? He is.
There is no artist, so these tanks cannot harm him anymore. But, okay, getting up there for only price of 2 shots was really lucky for him, I would even say. And it's important position for all of them to gain. You can see the disposition of the tanks of GoHard toward the village, as I said on the start. So that's their main play. They left Kerry Berry on H1 as standard position to prevent any enemy rotation from there. And most of the other guys will just snipe if he's in danger. So far so good here for GoHard. We need to see how will Kazna try to break this. By the having 1-1-3s here, there is only 2 possible ways I see it. Like they will either press the water cap with that pressure, or they will just do, let's say, full YOLO toward the village.
Full village YOLO, that's exactly what Gunrunners have done twice on this map and been able to win it on Mines. Vetzel was talking about how Gunrunners have a strong play here on Mines. The thing is, will GoHard be able to be ready for that if Kazna crew try and take a leaf out of Gunrunners' book?
Well, we can say for sure that Kazna completely changed their book of plays, for Mines at least so far. These tactics they use today, both are completely new. They're not using in attack anymore Grille. We've seen that. If you remember when Nexus was trying to dig out the tanks, he fired like 20 shots and he didn't hit a single thing there. Blind shooting the bushes and so on. And they played it twice in a row and it didn't work out. Also in defense they played much, much different. So yeah, Mines was not their strongest.
Shot just missing. Haiba there from Kaizu. Could have done a lot of damage on him there. He's going to be kicking himself for missing that one. Now Komi Piotr starting to move slowly here towards Kari Barry. Kari Barry's actually down at the side. He's not actually up high, Mojo, in the bushes where we'd expect him to be.
Yeah, but this is also still a valid position here. He is playing against Vetso there. Nice connection there by both, actually. It's really surprising that Vetso managed to snap him there, but Failware, this is not good for GoHard. Taking damage there is a huge risk. If they manage to push away the tank so they can't see any climber, like he will be in a serious problem. But considering they do use Maga up front, he is rather safe from that yet.
Who's hit Failware? Because all of those autoloaders on the hill were on full clips.
There is a chance that actually one of the 113s connected him because he was peeking. You remember the Haiba and the guys were aiming up.
I think that's where it came from. Because everyone else on the hill was on full. I mean, it might have been Haiba. He has aiming that way. Maga's taken 159 damage there. So somebody's put a Ichi shell into his face, trying to work out where he is at the moment. But that's unfortunate for Failware. Taking damage we didn't need to. Kari Barry trying to shoot Call Me Piotr. It's blind shooting at the moment. Barry knows he's spotted, but he doesn't know where Piotr is.
It actually looked to me like Haiba is breaking the trees with the Ichi shells. That's something that you can do. If you hit them from a certain angle, they will just fall off, like in real life, you know, opposite to the shell. So he might have broken them to ease up a climb for a future Bachat coming in, or even to make obstacle so he is less spotted when he moves there.
Maga just holding his ground here against Yzne and Haiba. HE hit, no damage there coming out from Yzne as Haiba reloads and gets ready for another one. Now Maga has a damaged viewport and limits his visibility slightly, but not to the range it's going to have any effect considering the distance that the two Kazna crew tanks are away from him. Failware, whatever he does, is going to be bold. Tracked himself coming down the hill there.
Oof, Maga is taking some serious HE damage now, spammed by two 1-1-3s. This is hellish tactics here coming in. I mean, last season we had a chance to see Kneckebrud first using that on Himmelsdorf. If someone watched it and remembers it, they managed to kill entire IS-4 on a red line there, just using HE shells by 1-1-3s. It was probably one of the most annoying moments for the guy on the other side.
I think we saw Shockish farming an Mouse as well with heat shells in this area, where he got a truck ton of damage, basically just shooting a Mouse under the hill.
He almost killed the entire Mouse, actually. Full 3,000 points, but being shot by two guys like this is a different story still. He didn't take that much of damage, and the half of the game is already over. We are already in the 6th minute.
Less than 5 minutes now. Kazna crew looking to have to make a move. Now Nexus is actually taking a shot there. 4-8-8. Very nice roll. That perhaps came from Failware there. As you see Maga's health just going down slightly again. Now, the only good thing for Maga is that Haiba and Yzne don't know exactly where Maga is. So a lot of their shots are going to miss rather than connect every single time. They have a rough idea where he is, but right now it's all blind fires. That's another connection there from Yzne dead into him. 420, no fire started. He is safe. He won't be blazing.
This is going to be a massive fight. It will have to start from two sides if Kazna wants to win it. 4 minutes in, that means that I don't think they can play from the water side anymore. They will actually have to commit over the village, and GoHard will be able to guess it. If they're positioned like this, that means probably they will have to go down from the hill and from the village side mainly in the same time. Why? They will have to have at least one guy from the center shooting on Failware, because they need to take him out. There is no real way to take him out except if you have someone on that 3-4 line. But you can already see that GoHard has Coca-Cola there, Carryberry.
Haiba, overextension there. He got shot at by Maga. He got shot at by Coca-Cola as well. He's going to carry on going forward. One more hit and Haiba goes down. He is in a very dangerous position now.
He's like, if someone returns him the favor with HE, he's done. Let's say like that.
But Haiba and Yzne are pushing into Maga at the moment. This might be the start of the push here, Mojo. Now, Haiba sitting back. Yzne pushing there into Maga, and it's Haiba that picks up the kill. Here comes the rest of the tanks from Kazna crew, but Ders is eliminated quickly by Failware, Mojo, the exact tank you said they needed to be worried about. Stefan is now clipping into Annihilator, as we see Vetso taking damage as well. On the far side, Call Me Piotr and Karibari are dueling. Just look at the health pools going down. Coca-Cola picks up Call Me Piotr. Now, Kazna crew, what can they do now? They still have 5 tanks available to them, but their HP is dropping, and it's not dropping on GoHard.
This is not well for them, because all the cards are actually in the GoHard side. They have still Kaizu and Coca-Cola with a lot of HP, but more importantly, they have a couple of tactical positions that are preventing from Kazna to do anything significant. They still have Failure up on a hill. They still have a guy in a base. They have a guy rotating around them. That's Carryberry. You can see like they are positioned like a ring around the Kazna, and Kazna would need to punch through somewhere, and they have only 2 minutes to do it. That means they have to risk.
Oh, Kaizu 655, not a really great shot there coming out from the Gorilla, as Stefan's able now to clip him. Remember, Yzne, no, Stefan picks up the kill. Failware's just waiting to peek back over, but now Karibari picks up the kill on Vetso. Kazna crew are down to 3 tanks, and they do not have HP to trade, as Failware now picks up Nexus. Mojo, exactly as you called it, he is an absolute thorn right now in the side of Kazna crew, because they just can't dig him out.
This is the main issue for them, because one guy from the middle was supposed to take him out, and it didn't happen. He was too well protected. The angles that GoHard was covering were too good for that. So they knew that no one can climb up. They knew that no one can actually line up real shots on him, and that's why this attack was bound to fail from the start.
Karibari now with a damage farm here onto Stefan and Yzne. As now Failware comes over as well. Stefan is now the last tank remaining for Kazna crew. It is Failware who picks up that kill. That's 3 kills from that elevated position. And there we have it, 1-1 Kazna crew and GoHard here on Mines.
Keep on going, Failware. He's in my team.
Me as well, so good to see. But yeah, nicely done by Kazna crew. The push from, well, sorry, nicely done by GoHard. The push from Kazna crew was a bit disconnected. I would say they were kind of forced into it by Hyba taking a lot of damage, but theirs went down so quickly when it happened.
That was part of the plan, that you try to take out as much shells in the heavy tank so the other guys are safer. I would say maybe it would be better if he pushed together with Disney, so I guess he didn't expect to get shot for so much and so early. That's probably the part they had, but losing theirs was critical moment when they actually broke, and everything else was nice, but just they didn't have the closure power anymore.
Well, let's have a look at where the damage came from in that round. Who came out on top for their teams? We can see Karibari finally living up to his name and coming top damage, with Kaizu right behind him. Second place, then Stefan. Failware just out of the top 3, but only slightly. He did pick up 3 kills. Didn't fire as many shots as Stefan.
Stefan was in a first line of attack for Kazna, of course after the 1-1-3s, because they were used as punching bags. Then he charged in and did his clips. But still, as I said, they didn't have the closure power, because once theirs fell, that was pretty much it. They also lost other flanks. And you could see how Karibari managed to surprise Vetso from the back, take him out, and then they pressed on Kranwagen. So Kazna just felt like dominoes then, and they were left down in really bad positions, surrounded by everyone, and they had no way out of that.
Theirs didn't even fire a shot when they came down from that position there. Not even got one shot out. And the Kranwagen only got one shot as well, only did 450 damage.
It's amazing, because Kranwagen was specifically picked because of his great cooldown, so he can shoot down on tanks. But failware was a problem for him, because if he wants to shoot down from the hill, that means that he is constantly turned with his 90 degrees to that bachat on a hill, and he has no way to deal with him. Absolutely no way, because Kranwagen has a turret that rotates very slowly. It's not armored unless you are positioned specifically to shoot people below you. Then he's the strongest tank in the game. But otherwise, he's actually a rather mediocre tank.
Also, I mean, Karibari won the duel against Call Me Piotr on the other flank, which then freed up Karibari completely to come into the battle.
That's very important.
Very well done. Very good solo play there. Now let's have a look at the lineups for map number 2. It's going to be Ghost Town, which is one of the most interesting maps that we have, I feel personally, and we have a wide variety of vehicles being used.
Good roundup lineup here by Kazna. Here, with this, you can play whatever tempo you want. 350Bs, I7 and VZ, so you can pressure any of the caps with this. You can trigger the lower cap with the buttshots in a start and refuel it with I7 and VZ. You can play flanking because you have a lot of 50Bs. So this is a tactic that you cannot really predict if you are GoHard. What is Kazna going to? GoHard on the other side do have the AMX30 prototype, which would suggest normally that they will try to climb it up for a decap, but last time they played something like this, they actually rushed with the entire team.
And the 30 actually had a heck of a lot of damage in that battle when it was in town fighting, because most people were ignoring it and just letting it do damage. It has quite good gun handling, it has good penetration, and left alone it will do a lot of damage. Who's going to take the first round here? It's all squared Kazna crew. Go hard. Let's find out. Let's go to Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
Hey, this isn't the battle that you're looking for. Well, sadly, sometimes these things happen. We will get things back underway straight as quick as possible. Actually, I was going to say straight away, not straight away, quick as possible. Now, Ghost Town, I said earlier on, it's been one of my favourite maps. Would you agree? Is it one of your favourite?
I like Ghost Town because it's the fastest map in a league. It always ends up in some big brawl. There is no way around it. It's a small map. It's designed specifically for esports.
Yeah.
You cannot play it in random games. I think the only mode it was played on was Domination when it was up.
I don't even know if it was in Domination. Had a separate map as well.
No, it was.
Okay.
It was there. It was one of the maps. So it was usually used when you had those 10 on 10 situations. So it's a map you cannot normally see. But as we said, like it's not identical, symmetrical, but is as close as it gets.
It's not 100%. People are always like, the spawn areas are not the same. The bases are not equal. It's like, settle down, guys, okay? Settle down. But no, it's a very fun map to watch. I mean, I don't know if more symmetrical maps would be something that's cool. Maybe certainly different environments. I like to see, you know how we had, I think it was Port that had all the railway tracks on it?
Yes.
I'd like to see a map similar to that again. I really liked that layout. It was like a more kind of modern
tournament on that.
Not that map, but something like that map, that kind of setting. You know how it's a kind of city
I know,
map,
I know what you're saying. I just wanted to point out if Oli is watching because I beat his favorable PTS while they were camping there twice.
Pirates, the old school clan.
Yes.
Now, let's actually have a look, Mojo, at the records here on Ghost Town. So, 12 times it's been played by GoHard, and it's been played 12 times by Kazna crew. Kazna crew actually have quite a dominating win ratio here.
Yes, compared to the last season, which was their bane map and horrible map, they really lost a lot of matches on it. This season they're playing it far better. So I guess it's all normal. Like, what hurts you the most, you try to learn to play the better for the next season.
Yep. Out of the 12 matches, Kazna crew actually have a 75% win ratio, so
quite high.
Certainly not to be underestimated. Now, we saw at the start lineup, we've shifted away from bat chats and we're now using things like AMX 50Bs and things like E100 start to come into the game as well. Very different playstyle for Ghost Town. I mean, you said it yourself, it encourages the brawls. Yeah,
you cannot really say E100s are incorporated because in the last season, Ding actually introduced meta first with 2, then with 3 E100s.
Okay.
But a lot of people since then learned how to play against it, so you rarely see now the builds that have so many of them because once they get flanked, they're pretty weak.
Yeah.
They can get shot up because they're slow. But if you use them well, they're disastrous because you can see if the 3 of them peek around the corner and one guy is out of the position, it's bam, 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 and 10 less, man.
The thing I like about Ghost Town as well is the tactics are constantly evolving. Like, always seeing new vehicles, always seeing new tactics. We might see new tactics now because we are ready to jump into the action. Kazna crew on the red side are attacking, GoHard on the blue side defending. Now, what can we see here, Mojo? How's this going to go from the start?
Well, pay attention to the Kazna movements. Like, Maga is doing something usual, spotting with his Basra to see the rotation. Kazna is actually trying to maybe intercept and catch him in that. Look at the position where there is Diplomat and Isne are.
Perhaps trying to catch out Maga, but Maga has got himself safe. Coca-Cola's coming over to him.
It's going to be quite interesting because Kazna here is not playing something like a strict tactics. They're spread out like a web here, so you can say that this setup is weak against a strong push, but they're actually close enough to help each other rather easily because they have very mobile tanks and they can move around.
The GoHard very spread out here on the left-hand side of the map. Kazna crew not committing to anything yet, not showing their hand really. I mean, we've seen this before with defending teams, Mojo, that sometimes when a fight happens and is forced, the defending team can't react quick enough to it because they're so spread out.
This is also smart play by GoHard because they don't have enough info. You can see how much they pull their ranks back. Why did they do it? Why did they give so much ground to Kazna? Because Kazna has such a fast lineup, they're unsure what will Kazna exactly do. And they do not want to leave some tank stranded because if they lose one tank on the start of the fight, that's it. That's GG already. They know it. So they're waiting actually and hoping that Kazna will maybe blindly charge in and they will have a great crossfire there. Or Kazna will start the trigger on some cap and then GoHard will play their tactical game based on whatever is going on.
That's Coca-Cola's here as the furthest forward from GoHard, venturing into the town, using his armor hopefully to be able to deflect the first couple of shots.
Yes, you can pay attention to Coca-Cola's later because he is actually watching toward the 2 cap with his E100 while he is protected by Failware from the back end Maga. Like, you will be able to see that when you see the GoHard side of the map in rather soon. While that is going on, Kazna is doing a blind shot where GoHard might have an elevated tank.
Bit of a gamble here. Whenever it goes to a white crosshair like you see in the center of the screen there, that means we're looking at the player's point of view, that we can see the player's point of view, and we're actually seeing exactly what they're aiming at and how they're looking at the game. So that's why sometimes on the minimap it looks like a team disappears. It's because we're actually switching into the player's point of view. When both teams are on the minimap, that means it's our observer point of view where we can see the action from both sides.
Yeah, we can see the Kazna saw nothing like a big opening, so they didn't want to charge in blindly. and they decided the best version for them is to press toward the 1 cap. So it's going to be a cap pressure game where they will need to put at least Stefan on that IS-7 inside, maybe possibly even Haiba in that VZ. Other tanks will stay out to try to intercept GoHard tanks. But we've seen different plays here, because once you trigger the cap, you can also pressure along the B line if there is no one there and try to catch enemy off guard. We've seen Kazna actually do also that.
These tanks aimed up at this area. Stefan's going into the cap circle at the moment. Zafarchik will be able to get a reset on him. You can see all the buildings in the cap circle already damaged. Zafarchik in no hurry to have to do the reset while the rest of his team get into position. The danger that Zafarchik has to be careful of is he doesn't receive any counter fire, because you can see Haiba is spotted, so Zafarchik has to watch for that. As now Failware and Karibari start to make their move. It's going to be a wide rotation here, Mojo, from GoHard.
Well, there is only one tank on a cap, so they are really not in a hurry. Look, you can see 90 seconds to go. They are very well aware of it. Zafarchik is also in position up. He can move away and do the reset, but I don't know why is he on so close position with that AMX, because he can take quite a lot of damage if he actually peeks from there to reset.
Kazna crew all bunched up here. Colin Piotr coming around in support of his team. Kazna crew just waiting for GoHard, waiting for any kind of movement. You always have the potential of Haiba being able to run over as well. Now Zafarchik starting to make a move. He is spotted. Stefan now sees him. Almost a minute still to go on the cap, so still more than enough time for GoHard to get into position, and they're heading over to what's known as Death Alley, and this is where we're going to see the fight in a couple of moments, Mojo, and it's going to be done or dusted, I guess, within the next 3 minutes.
Maga is out of the position, but he's closing in, and I believe the fight will start really soon.
Here it comes right now. Let's listen into the team speak of Kazna crew, and we can hear how they're going to handle this.
They're shielding me.
Kaizu,
shielding me.
Don't shoot him.
Focus on B, carry barrier, Kazu.
You can't fire.
We have to kill
Yeah,
Kaizu.
we need to kill him.
Who can finish
the B? I will finish the one shot. I will finish one shot.
Multi-finish, you have to finish.
Finish Kaizu.
I'm still in awesome position against all of them. You can let me play against them.
Is he going Kaizu?
Yes. 2 seconds reload. I got the bat.
Watch out for favor.
Can somebody aim the AMX 30?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Nice.
I got him.
I can't decap.
Take it easy, take it easy. We still have cap.
We still have cap.
They can't push here. We fucking cross.
They can't decap me. We can set up again, guys.
Easy, we cap. Hello.
We are capping. We're still capping.
You have shots, Piotr?
I just need someone to. I need someone to aim the AMX. Okay.
Piotr, I can help you with the B if he pushes you. I don't understand shit.
Yeah, because everybody's yelling. Chill down.
Just cover this
-1
and
on
I'm
failware.
aiming MX, that's it.
Don't exchange.
Nexus, don't exchange.
Foolishly
The
now.
100 needs to peek me if he wants to decap me. I will rape him.
I'm aiming this corner now.
What's the HP of the W sit?
Low, he's low.
If they go up here, I can.
Hyper, would you spot W set if you went AMX, if you went spec?
I think I would, but...
Isna, go a bit down, spot with your cupola, you don't need to select it.
He needs the spot, mate.
Hyper, can you try
Just
to
spot
proxy
with
the
Cupola,
100
stay
maybe,
there.
Hyper? Or is it
Yes.
too risky? If you don't have to, it's not needed.
Can you double the cap with Hyper?
No, it's not needed. We have pressure. It's 3.5 minutes.
Are you standing good over there?
Yes, I will rape him if he peeks me. Or like, I give him one, then he might decap. Then we might.
Me and Mal stay here.
But just
ready to
let
go.
me give him one free shot when he tries.
Okay. Go safe, go safe.
I need help with fire.
Yeah, you will have.
He didn't decap me. He needs to try again. All tanks.
MX
30
is
down.
Can't we peek the.
He needs to decap me.
Those guys.
5 seconds.
Peek on visit.
You have to.
I'll finish.
Still needs to decap. Hyper, you can join cap now. Hyper, you can join cap now. If
MX
I'm
he's
sure.
gonna have a killer.
I
Join cap, join
I'll
cap.
go, I'm joining.
Nice. They can't decap. They can't decap.
Easy,
Wait.
Cap.
And that looks like it's a pretty much done deal, Mojo. Kazna crew able to receive that charge from GoHard.
Yeah, that was pretty easily handled here. GoHard was out of the positions. Kazna read them well. They had superior positions. It was quite a cacophony on that TeamSpeak here, and half of them didn't even understand what was going on, but that didn't prevent them to click their mouse well.
It was the best statement ever in TeamSpeak. I don't even know what's going on. Not quite as exact as that, but yeah, that was one of the best quotes so far from TeamSpeak. Just when it all went silent as well.
Professional teams.
Yes, always. Nice. It's not like America. You ever heard that one of the American teams, someone just goes, comms, and everyone just silent immediately. and then the field commander then talks. It's really nicely disciplined. But
Very
no,
nicely
you don't get that in the
disciplined.
European
I hope
teams.
they will actually win a match next time they leave America.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah, it'll be good. Oh, Mojo! I just heard, whoa. Even on home soil, I did do it on home soil, but okay. Yes, let's have a look at the stats for that round between Kazna and GoHard. On Ghost Town, pretty sure it's going to be Kazna players all here in the first couple of players. Actually, no. It's my boy, Failware, coming out on top.
Failware farming in, even Zafarchik. But look at this, 5 of the Kazna guys are there, and it was really obvious from the game.
Yeah.
Like GoHard when
He's
they pushed
actually in the Tier 9 batch chat.
Yeah, but when GoHard pushed in, they were really in a huge crossfire from the Kazna guys. They had a lot of fast shooters, clippers, and so on. It was not the best play by them, I would say.
Yeah, it was a bit uncoordinated when he did go in. Kazna crew are very well set up to receive that push from GoHard. We see Caribari, Coca-Collapse, I mean, not really doing much damage. Caribari was top of the board in the previous round on mines. Now, I mean, with Ghost Town, it can always go 1-1. It's quite common for it to actually go 1-1.
Actually, in Ghost Town, I think a lot of teams know to break through and take the 2 games. Kazna is in really good position now to go to 3-1, which will of course not decide the match, but it will be a great advantage for them because they can play much more calmly and careful in the future part of the match. So the ball is in the GoHard side now. They are attacking. This is a pro-attacker map, so it's favoring attackers heavily. But still, the game is the game and the pressure is here.
Yeah, I mean, with the attack on Ghost Town, you can set the pace of the map, whereas in other matches, it's like, for example, Prokhorovka, it's usually the defenders that dictate the pace of that match. Now, I mean, GoHard, I'm expecting something unusual from them, perhaps here, a bit of bait and switch, perhaps, of Kazna crew, try and get them to go one way and try and come at them another way.
I don't know. This map is kind of small, and it's really hard to perform something like that. Rotations on Ghost Town are usually done by a team, and once you start a fight, you cannot really bait around that much. It's not really that big of a map. Once the fight starts, you can see here, everyone needs to be tightly close together so they can help each other. If you are all over the place, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a look at the lineups and see if there is going to be anything unusual, or is it going to be business as usual from these teams. Fairly standard, actually. Kazna crew taking a very similar lineup to what we just saw on GoHard there.
Kazna playing really aggressive with this. They have this MX-30 prototype. They can climb the same as GoHard, and they can just leave him there for the future decaps and support shots. But I don't know, this is rather risky setup by them.
Now, GoHard on the attack, Mojo. Why a T57 over something like a AMX-50B or even a Kranwagen?
Kranwagen is used for cooldown, but if you want pure DPM combined with some armor, you always take a 57. He's the fastest reloader, plus those heat shells. If you're facing something like E100, they have a much better chance to pen.
Okay, now can GoHard make it work for them, or is it going to be Kazna crew going ahead 3-1? Well, there's one way to find out. Let's jump into round 2 here on Ghost Town. GoHard are going to be attacking from the blue side against Kazna crew defending on the red side. Now, we can see here that it's going to be Failware in the T57 heavy, Mojo. Coca-Collapse in the E100. Nile again on the single shooter, the IS-7. He used to be playing the single shooters quite a lot for GoHard recently.
Recently, yes, because Maga is usually playing the budgets, and so is usually Failware and so on. So there is not, not everyone can play then a Clipper. Someone has to take a single shooter. You could also see that Stefan, who usually played Clippers in the last season, he was playing I-7 in the last game for Kazna. So that's also very responsible position, because once you get in some cooldown, you have to pay attention to what you're doing.
Annihilator and Comi Piotr here trading at the entrance to Death Alley, which is just round to the right of Annihilator there.
Well, Nile will always have an advantage here, because he cannot really get penned, while 113 can. If you hit a commander hatch, which is rather hard, but still, there is a possibility.
Caribari waiting to catch out anyone from Kazna crew who might go around the other side. And Comi Piotr actually takes a hit. 2 hits coming over from Niall's shoulder there. So it looks like Kaizu actually was the one getting the damage in there from behind Niall.
Now there is taking some damage, and look at this Haiba.
Haiba taking a truck ton of damage in the AMX-30. Now, at the moment, it could go in anyone's way. Let's actually listen into the team speak of GoHard and see, because this fight looks like it's about to go kick off right now.
Off FTB, no?
Hyper behind us. Zafar, hyper.
Давай, делай. Прям сейчас делай. Я заберу, забей.
Deploy the KD.
Zafar, let's play aggressive now. Let's play aggressive.
Go.
To be here.
I have 4, guys.
I'm on reload.
Grant minus 1 more. I'm reload.
We can push in, we can get there.
15 seconds. One, -1.
Collapse, shoot dirt.
The Fink is on reload.
I have 30.
Barry, Fink is reload. Reload. Same time as you.
Collapse, давай.
Kazi, we can kill him. Kazi, we can kill him.
Nexus -1, I think.
I killed deep block.
One shot 50 who can kill.
I kill.
Nice.
I'll push Nexus.
Stay by stay.
Bad.
How many batches?
Stay. Wait.
okay.
Why?
How many batches?
Wait, you can
Minus 2. Minus 4.
I'll go for
Oh
shit.
no. Minus 5.
I'm on reload. Track that shit.
Nice, guys.
And just like that, in the blink of an eye, less than 3 minutes into the battle, and GoHard have already won it.
Yeah, I think if it comes to some tiebreaker, this will be one of the deciding factors here. Nexus is trying to buy some time, so maybe some seconds are leached there, but still, this is clearly GoHard's victory. This is some tactic that Kazna already played actually before on the Ghost Town. They did know how to charge like this, and I said this is a very risky lineup. It's very light, and if enemy reads them well, it's done for. You could see when Piotr was approaching, he already took 2 shells. Haiba lost 90% of HP while he was trying to reposition.
Yeah.
And their attack actually failed before it even started.
The thing I like as well is when we do listen into the comms, is listening to the players counting shells. You could hear that from them.
It's a super important segment of the game.
But the other thing I liked as well is people saying, I think he shot, I think he's got 1, I think he's got 2. And sometimes they were saying to somebody else, go. Like, I think he's got 2, you go, rather than me.
Well,
which is
maybe
like, I lost
just a heavy
count.
tanks job and you need to do it. I mean, guy with more HP will always go first anyways. But in this game, this was pretty one-sided. Kazna actually committed quite a harakiri here, I would say.
Coca-Cola right in the thick of it there with these E100. Stefan, Batchat next, top damage, 2.5. I mean, it's quite close there. 2.5, 2.3, 2.2, then 2 down at Nexus. Annihilator and IS7 as well, who was right beside Coca-Cola fighting out at the front, as with Kaizu. Vetso and Haiba. Vetso didn't even get a shot off when he was picked out in that corridor. I mean,
but
he got jumped on. Yeah.
That's Emil. I mean, that tank is, as I said, they're really cool when they're in superior position. But if they're shot on the way to superior position, they're like a dead meat.
Yeah, poor Carry Barry, 12 there, not getting a lot of connections there with these tier 9 Batchat, but them's the breaks. I mean, we saw it with Yizne coming second top damage in the previous round, and Carry Barry third bottom, same tank. As Yizne, should it be Carry Yizne? Should we rename him? You know?
It really matters also how the round progresses and where are you positioned, so you cannot really judge them like that, I would say.
Well, I think Carry Yizne would be quite a good name.
I think you're just trolling Carry because of Scarium.
Maybe
a little.
Maybe I just think Carry Yizne, see if Yizne will do it. Now, we're all square, 2-2. We're going to go to Prokhorovka now, a map that in the past has been a stronghold for GoHard, but we've seen them sometimes... Kazna crew as well, however, we've seen some terrible plays from them on Murav and Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka is a map where it's really hard to take both sides because it's really pro-defensive if you defend it well. We've seen Kazna when they play defense with Nexus was playing STRVTD, 4,680 damage blocked. That's a monstrous amount of damage blocked against Utopia because they were all shooting him. He was like, you cannot kill me.
Yeah, but Kazna crew have done some terrible 1-2 line pushes.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad readouts and mistakes, but still, I mean, GoHard has their fair share too there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not a map you can easily say this team's got it. Now, the lineups here coming out, I mean, almost a mirror lineup, actually. Only the Gorilla is the difference on the two teams.
Well, it's quite usual because STRV is something that prevents the enemy rotation, and it's really good at bouncing. Lately, like, I mean, it's better than I7 in that regard. And for defense, it's perfect and gives a lot of possible rotations to GoHard, but Kazna needs Grille on their side because with that high penetration, when they get him in some position, he can either blind shot or decamp some of the tanks, and it's very mobile. so they rather need him, and they obviously, because of something in their tactics, picked an STRV, so they can maybe more freely rotate with the remainder of the tanks, like Bachats and Ru, while leaving the rest lesser number somewhere.
Okay, well, let's jump into the round and find out who's going to take the first one here. Will it be Kazna Crew or GoHard? It's all square. Let's go to Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
Once again, sorry for the delay, folks. We will get the match started as quick as possible. Now, Mojo, a point I wanted to say there about Prokhorovka here is that Kazna Crew are on attack for this round. They have 80% attack win ratio. GoHard are on the defense, and they actually have a 71% defensive ratio. So both teams are actually at their strongest side at the moment. So it's going to be a very telling match. It's going to be an interesting match.
Yes, but still, it always matters. Who are you playing against and so on? How much are you reading in their tactics? As Vetso himself said on interview before, they played against GRS and they had no clue what will happen next.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, because you can say whatever kind of statistics of GRS you watch, they will be horrible because they lost most of the matches. Still, they surprised a lot of good teams. So it doesn't really matter in that regard. We could see the lineups before. They're very well sounded. They are very well
exact
thought
same,
of.
apart from one tank.
Similar, yes. And they will leave a lot of possible options. I think we already published a video about Prokhorovka. We did the last. So who is interested, you can check it out for some of the tactics used in attack and defense. It's rather educational in that manner. But here, I don't really expect any kind of huge rush in the start, because none of them has any possibility for it, really. And it can end miserably, and it's a huge risk.
Yep. Now we see the new Swedish Tier 10 tank destroyer, S-Tank, being used. Do you favour it more for the attacker side or the defender side?
Of course, it's better for defender. STRV is used purely defensive, always, because if you want to move it around, I mean, normal state of that tank destroyer is something called the siege mode. That's a new thing, so you press an X, which would usually lock your tracks if you're artillery or whatever, and you get a whole another point of view how you aim and so on and so on. But it takes like 1.4 seconds for him, so to go in or out. He has really superior armor, it's hard to pen him frontally, but from the sides he's super weak, and DPM is great, and he will pen everything. Really, if someone watched that video, we actually used him as an example there. So he's really good to counter enemy pushes, because he's like a machine gun with a I don't know, trenched up machine gun.
Yeah, it's like a bunker, basically, you've got to break through. But it is, I mean, when it's changing from siege mode to drive mode, it's a mobile, it can't do anything, and that's generally when it can get wrecked really quickly.
Yeah, if it's flanked, he's dead.
It can unsiege, I believe, as well if it's tracked. If you track it, it can't unsiege, so you can't hit the siege button when you're tracked. You have to repair the track first.
If he's tracked, it doesn't even matter is he in siege or not. He's just as dead.
I might be wrong with that, chat. I do apologise. But it does go pretty much as fast. Once you're out of siege mode, it can go as fast in reverse as it does go forwards. So it's very good at getting the hell out of there as well.
Yes, that's one of his strong points too.
Yes, well, everything looks like we're ready to go. Let's jump into the battle. Now, Kazna Crew on the red side are attacking, GoHard on the blue side defending, and Kazna Crew are going over to the 1-2 line module, but it looks like GoHard are going completely the opposite direction.
No, they're going to do the fast spot here, while Kazna is separating their tanks a bit. It's interesting how they're positioned. There is a Nexus there. It's a bit risky if Zafarchi goes super aggressive and they take over the middle. This might be kind of sticky situation for Kazna, but no, they're just playing standard. You can see how the TD Nile is positioned on A6 position with his STRV. They might even change his position later for A8. We've seen some teams do traps from that area, and it's a really powerful position to play from.
So looking at the viewpoint from now, just look at how fast this thing goes backwards. As Niall just crashes into the red line there as he's aiming towards the hill there, using the gun depression of that vehicle once it's in siege mode. Diplomat and Stefan shooting towards Failware, but if he manages to connect, that'll be one hell of a lucky shot, because he's just blind firing at the moment.
Stefan is just browsing the bushes. Maybe he will shoot something or not. He's very good at it anyways. And he was usually doing it with Grille, and this has even superior reload to Grille, so why not? You can see how the tanks are positioned from the GoHard. This is a trap we will also explaining on A8 position. Interesting, they're not using any forward spotters, so no one getting in there unless they're super careful. We know what's going on.
Stefan actually put just one right over the top of Failware there. It's an unusual bush he's into, not a kind of common one that people would really expect to park in. Perhaps expect one over closer to the road. But yeah, it's a bit static at the moment, Mojo. Now, how are Kazna crew likely to break through this GoHard defense?
Well, interesting here is you can see how Failware is positioned here. He's just watching like this if someone is pushing, but the main part of their play are two Bachats here who are waiting for anyone to appear from this very area. So no one is spotting for them, so they will not know there is anyone there. It will just look like it's abandoned side with only this tank in this position here. They did use STRV here before because he's heavily armored. He can cover the guys on the middle. He can even see something here and pull back, but now you can see he's on his traditional spot back in the woods here, covering any kind of push, and he can do humongous amounts of damage from there. Zafarchik will probably go relieve Failware and take over his spotting. Now Kazna has two choices what to do. Kazna can gather up tanks, push the heavies like this, push the light first to try to fan out the spotter, kill him if it happens, and then push the heavies to try to lure out that STRV. But look at the amount of defense that actually GoHard has there. They completely abandon the other side of the battlefield. So if that happens, Kazna is so dead. Other options go with like Bachats pushing from here and part of the forces here or shooting from here, or they can just go from the hill like this. But we've seen yesterday several teams trapping from this area where you can also not spot anything. That means that who goes down first here dies. And Kazna is apparently scared to do that. So it's really a lot of minefield options, but GoHard seems to be lining up for something super aggressive here.
GoHard lining up to push down his flank. They perhaps guessed there's only two tanks down here. Now, I was going to say Failware took a shot when he backed off. Stefan is shooting blind. Maybe they can catch Stefan in siege mode, and they might get the drop on him. There is only other one tank supporting him. Stefan shoots Zafarchik, but he doesn't. He sees Failware as well. And they're going to be calling for backup from the rest of GoHard, but right now it's a free farm for Stefan, but Zafarchik is taking all the shots, and Stefan has to be careful because once Karibari and Failware get up here, they're going to jump onto him. Komi Piotr gets the kill on Zafarchik. How much damage can Karibari and Failware do? Karibari's already in a crossfire. This is really bad positioning, and Stefan is just going to town here for damage. Look at the amount he is farming right now on the tanks of GoHard. Where is the rest of Kazna crew? Well, they're holding up what's left of GoHard.
I mean, they're actually massacring what's left of GoHard because Stefan and Piotr were fighting here pretty much alone. Stefan will fall now, and that will be a problem for Kazna because now they can get shot from two sides. Maga is still alive, but barely, never mind that. And now it's pretty much 5 guns against 3, but the game is not over.
Nope. Now Annihilator is able to get crossfire into Diplomat, and the two Bachats that are surviving for GoHard can get shots back into Kazna crew. Now, how long can Annihilator survive in this position? He realizes he's got to relocate. 2 tanks from Kazna crew are on 1 shot, but then they still have 2 tanks on full health. It's not so easy to call if they can get the quick kills on Diplomat and Haiba. Kazna crew have a bit of a job ahead of them.
Haiba and Diplomat here are rather pretty much dead if they try to rotate, but important thing is that Isne is alive and he can cap, and they have Durs on a lot of HP and Nexus. But Nexus and Isne are not really great rotational tanks, and they have no armor. Cap pressure is on. Kazna will try to do something like lure them in, so Diplomat and Haiba can do at least, they hope, 1 more shot of damage with that low HP. But we will see how will GoHard actually play it out. It's still not done game, and GoHard actually still has a chance to win this.
Triple cap pressure at the moment. We're down to 23 seconds. GoHard are going to have to rush them with their tanks. The tanks they have left are fast-moving tanks. How quickly can they take down Diplomat here? They need to have as many shots as possible. Failware gets the kill. He takes a lot of damage. We're down to 11 seconds on the cap. Now, these tanks are aiming north. They're not aiming to the middle. Haiba can stop them. 5 seconds. I think GoHard have left it too little too late, Mojo. I was saying it looked like it was going to be a triple cap. Kaizu comes rushing in to try and get a reset. Kaizu misses. The cap has happened. And GoHard, you were too far away there. You should have kind of expected that one to happen.
It was a good read there by Kazna to go on the cap. I really approve that for sure. and abandoning the tank on the other side. That was the best solution ever. You could see why that STRV used even in attack, because once the GoHard chose a risky version of pushing the forest, that machine gun solely stopped them. Yes, Batchat was there to help. If there was not Batchat, he would die for free. But still, they between themselves held 4 tanks from GoHard.
I was going to say, I think this is at least the second, if not third time we have seen tanks push down that 1-2 line. They've won the fight. Okay, fair enough. You've won the fight in that 1-2 line. But then what happens is they're completely out of position to defend base 2 because they have nothing covering base 2, and it's very easy for the enemy team to cap. We've seen GoHard do it. We've seen it happened against Swift. We've seen at least, you know, GoHard, I think, have done it twice now in that situation, so they should have known that would happen to them.
But that's about rotations now, and that's about a failed fight in a forest. If it didn't go that badly for GoHard, they would not be in that situation. But after that, they were rather static, and they should have already anticipated that and moved. So that's their mistake here. You can see Stefan here. He really farmed quite a lot of damage there. I mean, even interesting, I'm going to check out how much he bounced. He didn't bounce that much, actually.
Damage farm from him in that area, just shooting at all the tanks coming towards him. Diplomat in the 113 in the middle was able to get a lot of crossfire shots, and then Failware was the remaining Batchat, or one of the remaining Batchats for GoHard, who was in the fight the longest. 2k, I mean, the damage isn't very high in this battle. Usually we start to see the 2k, 3ks at the bottom of page 1, but Ders and Safarchik coming last. Ders not even getting a shot. He does get a shot, but doesn't get a connection there.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because there was one of the guys capping in the end.
Yeah.
He was not in position to help anyone, obviously, in the start of the game. But after that, they just finished it up with a cap. I don't like what GoHard did here. I don't think they needed to do it. It was kind of a rash call, wanting to win before the time, before Kazna actually opened any cards. Why did they do it? Only they know. The result we can see easily, especially since they knew the Kazna has an STRV. They should have expected the STRV is waiting there in a forest line. That's his natural habitat. That's something you want to use it from. And that kind of play is something I don't like. That's exactly what you said before of the game. Kazna actually suicided like that 2 times while they were defending.
Yeah, Kazna crew have done that exact thing that GoHard just did, and they've got wrecked for it twice. Now GoHard have done it to Kazna crew. GoHard failed. It's a very dangerous move. I mean, if you do it, you need to get those tanks down, and you need to get them down quickly, and then move from that area. Because if you don't, you get bogged into a fight, you lose the HP, you lose tanks, and then you're nowhere near being able to cover base 2. It's an easy cap.
It's not only that. Now they gave a defense of Prokhorovka, which is a defensive map, so mostly defenders have a chance to win it. They gave it to Kazna rather cheap. And Kazna will go on defense now. If they win it, they will be on a match point already, 4-2. It's hard to come back from that, especially since the next map is Ruinberg.
Yep, and this was the stronger side for each of these teams as well. Kazna crew are better on the attack. GoHard were better on the defense. Now we're going to flip it around. It's going to be GoHard on the attack, Kazna on the defense. And I don't know, if I'm GoHard, again, stay the hell away from the 1-2 line. Don't go near Stefan if he's in the S-tank in that area.
We will see about that, but I believe lineups are ready, so...
Yes, let's have a look at the lineups and see what vehicles are going to be used here. Now, S-Tank coming out for Kazna crew on the defense. GoHard going with 4 Batchats, IS-7, 113, RU.
Okay, GoHard playing rather mobile setup here. They actually might even pressure that 1-2 line if they want with this, or they can just choose to go toward the village. One of the ways you use these IS-7s if you want to play blind, you just push them with other tanks, but it's super risky. Still, Kazna has a Kran wagon. I mean, there is a lot of options that GoHard can choose to attack from.
Well, let's find out. Are Kazna crew able to go 4-2 up against GoHard and be on match point? Or are GoHard going to bring it back into a tie again, all square at 3-3? Well, Kazna on the defense, red side, against GoHard attacking on blue side. And Ders and Stefan, Ders just giving him a little push along there to make him go a little bit faster.
Kazna already used this. They're going to push a Kran wagon in that position on C7, C8. So he will play the hold down from there. That's something Kazna already played. And you can see the support comes from Piotr, from the bushes on A8. There is that defilate we've seen in the bushes there. And Ders from the rail. Ders can easily snipe unspotted and just move away. A lot of tanks from Kazna on the other side. You can say they're outnumbered there because they have only 4 guys there. But let's not forget, STRV, played by Nexus this time, can bounce a hell of a lot of damage there. Last time Nexus was in this position against Utopia, 4,680, an impressive number.
It was a huge amount of damage that he was able to block from the attack against him. Now, Yuzny is forward in this bush. He is being aimed at almost exactly by Annihilator. If only he knew. It looks like it would go through the turret. It would connect with him, perhaps.
Well, this is now the problem for GoHard. If they start blind shooting the bushes here a lot, Kazna will know that most of their clippers are here. Also, they will have to spend some shells. But if they don't do it, and they lose a chance of damaging someone blindly, that's gonna be a nonsense also, because pushing here blindly, then it will not work out. This is a blind shot that Ders picked up. He was not spotted. So it's a rather lucky shot here by Coca-Cola there, who was just, you can see, shooting on rails, anticipating someone might be there. It's not best if you watch on, I don't know, precision stats, but that's why precision stats in Gold League are not really relevant, because most of the players spend a lot of time shooting some positions they think someone might be in.
Yeah, there's a lot of blind fire comes out trying to find out where you think a tank might be based on where you would potentially be if you were in their shoes.
So this is a kind of a lineup. You can see how GoHard is playing now. This is exactly how Ding actually plays it. They have a root tank right there, whereas Zafarchik is spotting that area, trying to determine, and he spotted Stefan. Now, one budget covering him up, that's usually positive. Then they have I7 and 113 in the middle, and a couple of the guys in the forest. So this is something you can call all-around play that can rotate from the side of the map depending how they determine. The only thing I honestly don't like from Kazna is that Bachat on A0 position. It's super risky. Once it's pushed, that tank has nowhere to go. If he's spotted, he will always get shot from the people behind.
Yeah, he can kind of duck backwards, I think, right into the corner of A0, but still, he's dead. He can only like run along the A line and hope that people miss shots.
There is no great cover there. That's the main issue. But they need to cover Stefan, because if tanks get below Stefan, if they go down from hill on that 0 line, you can see, they can just go for free in the water and clip out Stefan, and he can do nothing about it, and no one can help it. So that's why they have a Bacha there. But still, it's domino effect for me.
And you can see from position as well, Vetso has a clear line of sight right over the top of Nexus, so you have the combined fire of those two tanks from the exact same angle, which will be super punishing for anyone, and they will be spotted by Yuzny when they make a move. And it looks like there is a choo-choo train coming here from GoHard down the 1-2 line, and this is potentially going to hurt like hell, as Stefan could be farming a hell of a lot of damage once again.
Well, still, there is a lot of tanks here for GoHard. The first one, Coca-Collapse, of course, in I7. He's supposed to soak up all the damage, that's why it's a choo-choo train. But why does Kazna have so many Bachats around the STRV? So he cannot get flanked. It's gonna be a very painful experience, but they need to save the shells for Bachats, actually.
Kaizu moves himself out, could potentially get hit. They're shooting towards Yuzny. Kaizu stops, which means he's going to be focused by Vetso and Nexus as he left the train. Now, Yuzny does drop. You see Haiba flanking in round the back as well as Stefan starts to come over and call me Piotr on minimap. Vetso has been focused. He goes down absolutely immediately. Fairware getting the kill there. Now, Ders and Nexus are still unspotted. Ders does get spotted. Hides behind Nexus. Nexus is still unspotted. He's taking a truck ton of damage once again. Look at all those shots bouncing off him as now Ders is parked directly behind him. Failway and Karibari running in. They only have 3 shots. Coca-Collapse coming off reload in his IS-7 as Ders now gets focused. Karibari for the ram kill, which he does. Failware now beside Nexus, might be able to get a killing shot. Nope, Nexus is still surviving. GoHard have taken a lot of damage for this, but Kazna crew only have 3 tanks left. What can they do?
This was a really good play by GoHard here. I don't like how Kazna positioned the Bachats. They should have been closer to the road, so they would shoot the tanks in a side, leaving only STRV there to take any frontal punishment. I think the cause of their loss is exactly there, because they cannot come back in this game. At least I don't see how.
Kaizu, who stopped and stayed back, is now able to get shots in the back line as Annihilator comes round, and he was getting crossfire shots into Haiba. Komi Piotr tries to run away, but Annihilator now finishes off Haiba. Komi Piotr and Zafarchik. He flips Zafarchik. Oh, what a move! Komi Piotr puts Zafarchik on his roof. They clashed head to head, but the match is over, and Zafarchik lives to fight another day.
Well, that was an entertaining moment for sure, but it didn't help out except as morale boost here for Kazna. An entertaining moment for us. Still, The fact lies that Kazna had a great chance to go to the match point and they failed it. They didn't position the tanks well. I didn't like their positions from both sides, honestly. STRV, yes. Light tank spotting, yes. But the positions of Bachats were...
You need at least another Batchat with them, don't you, really?
No, they had 2 Bachats there.
Okay.
But they were positioned from his left-hand side, right side, I don't want even to say like what, looking like what. And they should have been more toward the road, waiting for some crossfire, hidden by the natural terrain. Like this, they were relying they will do the shots far away. But it's Bachats, man, and they were protected by IS-7. So that's kind of a sloppy play and sloppy planning.
Yep, I mean, top 2 damage dealers coming from Kazna Crew, Nexus and that S-Tank, we expected that. But then after that, the next 5 players all coming from GoHard. And as we always say, it tells its own story when you start to see stuff like that. Vetso only managed to get 1 shot from the position he was in. He was positioned behind Stefan. Ders in 8th place was over on that flank as well when the fight started, and that was actually just really strong play from GoHard, really good focused fire. I don't think Stefan was able to tank anywhere near as much shots as he did previously. It was nice with Ders to park right behind him, but good comeback.
It was Nexus on STRV this time, and Stefan was on Kranwagen.
Ah, okay, my bad. So good play from Ders to hide right behind the S-Tank to save himself, because the S-Tank wasn't spotted, but then they knew, because Ders was spotted, they were shooting into Ders, it was hitting something.
And it's a good way. You saw the GoHard guys saved a couple of shells and they just charged in, because just shooting STRV frontal, that's such a waste of ammo and time.
Yeah.
It's better to take 1 or 2 shots and flank, and then even with the slightest angle through his track, you will be able to pen him. But frontal, it's just like waste. Super waste.
Don't try that. Now, next map between these 2, Mojo, this is where it's going to get entertaining. It's going to be Ruinberg.
I would never say that last season, but I actually like watching Ruinberg in this season.
I just want to see if someone's going to do something new for a block.
There is a lot of new tactics here, not only block, the mind plays, the rotations and everything. So there is quite an inventive plays here on Ruinberg lately, and a lot of fails.
We're seeing mouse being used as well, triple mouse on Ruinberg and stuff.
Double, triple, single, mind plays with it, how will be used, CDC blocks, 5100 blocks, I don't know, like all kind of plays. So we just need to see what will they do. So far, actually, GoHard was much better than Kazna.
Okay, well, I can see something that's going to be interesting. Will it work? Will it not work? Well, we'll find out in a couple of moments when we can reveal the team list to everyone. Now, yeah, Ruinberg was a bit... some people really hated it last season. I liked it because it was a map that introduced potential unusual picks. Let's see now if we do get any unusual picks here from both of the teams. And straight away, Mojo, I can see that GoHard have a double mouse, double 113.
Double mouse, double 113, but we do know that GoHard is really good at playing mind games. And they're using 2 baby Bachats and 1 adult one. So they have, I mean, tier 9, 2 tier 9s and 1 tier 10. And Kazna in defense playing it with T49 as a spotter probably toward the back. This is rather conventional setup by Kazna. Yes, it can work against this, but it can really bounce back to them badly. And we've seen them already fail a couple of times against teams when they're defending.
Yeah, I mean, GoHard are the ultimate manipulators here. They did do mind games against Kazna Crew last time on Ruinberg. I think they took both rounds here on Ruinberg. It was 5-1 the last time these 2 teams played against each other. So yeah, GoHard taking both of the Ruinberg rounds.
Yes.
Will they be able to do it again this time, though? Will they be able to rope-a-dope them this time round?
Well, they did it last time, also with mouse plays, so we will see this time again.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. It's still all square between Kazna Crew and GoHard. It's 3-3. Who's going to take the match point? Well, let's find out here on Ruinberg.
Ruinberg, a mixed type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
And the action's already started. GoHard, blue team attacking into Kazna Crew, red team defending. And where is the mouse going to go? Or mouses or mousen?
Очень интересно. We can see here how Mouses are blinding this middle line on the Ruinberg. They're trying to fan off any possible spotters from the bushes on the F line that Kazna might use. Very early spot on these 1-1-3s might tell them, well, they already spotted Isne, so they know he's in a corner. So if any kind of play toward that cap comes, they know they have to take out Isne on the way first. Very strong defense by Kazna. They're also using Diplomat and Piotr both. Piotr here in standard position in bushes. They see something that Kazna used last time. And if anyone watched the video that we did, Ducky did point out that they should have first tracked the mouse on a way and then did damage without focusing just to shoot him out.
I think from Kazna crew, they're just like, no, there's no chance we're going to let GoHard try any north cap shenanigans. We're going to position for it. This position from Yizne is not something we normally see teams on the defense position someone so far forward. Normally they're sitting back in the buildings at round about A5, A6, but I mean that position from Yizne does give them nice crossfire on any kind of cap shenanigans from GoHard. And GoHard, they're staying off the radar at the moment, Mojo.
Yeah, there at the moment, it does look like they do want to press toward the top cap, but they didn't reveal any way. By position of these 1-1-3s, it might be that they will actually charge with Mouses maybe in the middle, while everyone else will just go toward that A line. Then Isna is a toast, and they can do any kind of pressure they want, and Diplomat will be in a pressure from the two sides. If Kazna doesn't focus fire brilliantly and kill the Mouses very fast, they will probably lose the game. Then yes, the tanks are actually gathering up. Wow, will they actually go with 7 tanks up? That's super risky, but it can also work because they will be with 2 Mouses on a cap while everyone else will actually then pressure.
Could be the potential reason for the 2 baby Batchats to hide behind the mouse when they do make their push. Now, Diplomat and Yizne are the only tanks who'll be able to see this. The rest of Kazna will rotate. How will they rotate? Will they come back east and then north, or will they come through the city?
This is very disappointing here for me. Sorry to interrupt you, but like the Piotr leaving in his 1-1-3 from that bush, that means they will see the Mouses approaching quite late. Any kind of rotation from Kazna, I don't know, will it be on time? I don't like the way they're reading this game. They're relying too heavily on Isne being in corner, but Isne is just a light tank. Let's face it like this. If that side of the map is charged, they don't even have to stop to shoot him. They just need to turn turrets while they're driving, and everyone packs in one shot, and that's about it. He might do one monstrous shot on one of the Batchats, and that might change the game, but still, there are Mouses, there are 1-3s, there is a lot of guns there.
The Mouses are starting to move up. They are aiming towards where Yizne is. Like you said, they know where Yizne is. They can get shots across into him. Yizne says, guys, there's 2 Mouse coming. We need to make a move. And already you can see the tanks from Kazna starting to move up that east side, starting to come into the cap circle. 522 damage onto one of the Mouse. Yizne, what can you do? I don't think you've got the penetration here. But there comes the rest of GoHard. They're going for a cap rush. It looks like they want to try and get a triple cap here on Mojo and force the fight. As Yizne goes down to Maga, what can Kazna do in return here?
Isne was taken down exactly as we said, like a gangster drive-by. Kerry Berry is taking a lot of damage there, but let's not forget this is rather good going on for GoHard. HP on their side and pressure is going on.
Annihilator gets the kill on the high bus, so that's 2 tanks down for Kazna crew. Stefan is going down through the town as Komi Piotr's on the corner. Diplomat is getting focused on by these other tanks of GoHard, and who can reset at the moment? We're down to 24 seconds. Annihilator and Coca-Cola just sitting themselves on the corner. Stefan's going to come round the back. There's nobody able to deal with him, and Stefan can get a damage farm in the back of these Mouse, but the rest of the Mouse might just take the fight to Kazna crew.
But it doesn't matter. The Mouses are just there to take the damage because they are actually focusing the other tanks of Kazna. Stefan can do whatever they want. That's a bad read by Kazna. Cap was never the problem. It was the fight. GoHard actually wanted to fight, and they were just forcing Kazna moves. Kazna tried to counterplay them there with Disney, but it just wasn't enough. The spot was not on a time. That guy on the center was missing, and Kazna was scared to leave in there because they were scared of push from the middle from the GoHard.
And look at this, Stefan's now on a reload as Maga and the tier 9 Batchat chases him down. Maga's going to be in a damage farm, but at what point does he pull away? Nexus gets a kill on Caribari, but he was already on low health, and Maga has to back off. He can't be drawn there into Stefan. Komi Piotr's waiting to shoot him as well. It is 6-on-4 at the moment. The cap is down to 30 seconds, and who's able to reset it right now? Nobody.
This is now the problem. The cap in this moment is a problem. Yes, Nexus will be maybe soon in a position and a Bacha there, but look at this, 10 seconds to go.
Triple cap, and Kazna have been outplayed again here on Ruinberg by the mind games of GoHard, making them think they're doing one thing and they were doing something else. 1 second, there might be a reset coming in. No, it's a bounce. There is an actual reset, but look at the damage they're taking for it in return. Call me Piotr now down to half health. There's still 5 tanks available for GoHard, and Kazna crew are taking damage on the 3 remaining tanks. I mean, it's just a bait from GoHard. They're just saying, come and shoot us. Every time you do it, we're going to shoot you back.
No, call me Piotr maybe, but Stefan got deleted in that moment, and you can see the HP difference number of the guns kept. Everything is for GoHard, and this is attack on Ruinberg. Now Kazna actually has to think, how will they win their attack? And I honestly can say they're not the best in that job.
I mean, it's just GoHard just seemed to have the read of them every single time. Like you said, the Mouse went on to cap, but the Mouse weren't. The Mouse were just there saying, "Okay, come shoot us." Well, the 5 other tanks in my team are going to fight the rest of your team. By that time, they already had a 2-tank advantage. They'd taken down Yizny, and they took down, I believe it was Hybar really quickly, the FE 215B. And Kazna crew were just like, "Oh, well, nuts! We've got to push. We've got to try and reset these Mouse," but that wasn't where the rear threat was, really. It was the 5 tanks still shooting at them.
The problem with Kazna on this map is they obviously still don't understand the best how to play Ruinberg.
Yeah.
GoHard has a much better idea. They do risk a bit more, but their plays are focused, they're strong, they have a focused goal how to do something. By this position of Kazna tanks, you could see they're trying to play a web on a map, like you would play on Prokhorovka or somewhere else, but it doesn't work that way. You even saw on Prokhorovka that GoHard managed to use the single gap in their defense, and they used it well because the tanks were not well positioned from Kazna. Again, a situation like this here. Too far split, doing the rotation to decap from the back, fine. They just go away from the cap frontal and they keep shooting because their mouses, they're going to soak up so much damage.
Yeah.
And those tanks that are actually really important are still in the houses doing the damage.
It's like, okay, Stefan can get a clip out into the back of the Mouse, but at the
Sure,
same time,
shoot, fire away.
Stefan's out of the fight, and it's 4 tanks left at that stage against the 5 of GoHard.
7 of GoHard.
Yeah, who are just laying into them. Dares actually survived as long as possible there for Kazna crew, being able to do 3.3 damage. Annihilator with a kick-ass game there, 3.1k damage and 3 kills in his Mouse. Coca-Cola nearly 3k damage as well in his Mouse, and those guys were just dominating that battlefield.
Mouses are super, super dangerous if they are not focused out. They have good DPM guns, I mean, for that kind of caliber. And yeah, if you leave them unattended, you could see they just turn left and right. And Kazna has a rather light setup that's not bouncy, so it's easy for them.
And I mean, the people that were on the North defense, you had Hyba, Yizny, and Diplomat as well. Diplomat was on the first page, but Hyba and Yizny barely got. I mean, Yizny got a great shot off. 797 damage against what was coming at him.
As I said, he will wait. He will try to do one shot. And if Kazna did a good focus, they might have actually taken out someone on a way. But there was 5 tanks coming in, not only Bachats, 5 tanks. As we said, 113s and Bachats also. That was a good play by them, something that we expected. And 2 Mouses also. So, yeah, I mean, GoHard outplayed them by 3 steps here, completely.
Hyba went down so quick, like so quick once the Mouse.
Also,
and then the rest
isn't
of the
it?
team,
It was important part. No one actually went to kill him, as I said on the start. He just drove by and gave him one in a row, like
just a drive-by. Yeah, nicely done there from GoHard on Ruinberg. It is quite good watching GoHard play Ruinberg. It's certainly a map they are in control of, and they certainly know what they're doing. Now, team swap position. It's now going to be GoHard defending against Kazna crew attack. And how much do you think that last round perhaps had an effect on Kazna crew? To the point of, oh no, not again.
This is a horrible moment for them, honestly. I mean, we've seen them come back from the game with a ding.
Yeah.
So they came from 4-0 up, so yes, they can come back from this. But the thing that is a problem for Kazna, GoHard just simply better plays both sides on Ruinberg.
Yep.
That's their problem here. And that's something they need to worry about because this is a harder side now.
Well, let's have a look at the lineups and see what they're going with. Oh, Kazna crew bringing out the triple Mouse. So we kind of know where this one might go, but at the same time, we don't know where this one might go. And GoHard have quite a flexible lineup in return.
Well, this is rather interesting because now we will see actually how much GoHard is skilled because there will be a huge deficit in HP and armor here. Huge.
The deficit is almost 3k. Almost 3k difference.
I like your counting, Ryan.
Let's jump into the battle now. GoHard here on match point. They are And the blue side on defense, Kazna crew on the red side on attack. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I took a quick glance down at the screen because we could see it before you guys and see the difference here.
It's lies. He counted on fingers.
My fingers, yep. All 11 of them.
He's just really fast on it. Well, Kazna for sure, when you play with 3 mouses, you can play around on a map a lot with it. Like you can send 1 or 2 on one side and then another mouse with other tanks on other. Grille also can be used usually on the upper part of the map, but if you want to play another mind game, it can be used also from down to take out their spotters. But playing with 3 mouses, yes, we've seen teams initially. The first time used was Tornado from CIS server. They actually played from the open lower side of the map. And it worked magnificent for them. But look at this. GoHard is anticipating the move of Kazna toward the 1 cap. A cap that Kazna usually pressures. And they focused a lot of guns around there.
Now, I wonder if they do try and do any push with the mouse, just how accurate the GoHard fire will be in tracking the mouse and just killing off that charge. Because each time we've saw it, the mouse has been able to get into the cap unspotted and unchallenged. But I mean, you and Daki have both said all you need is a couple of tracking shots and that whole plan falls to pieces.
Yes, if you're positioned like that, but also there is that tactic where you push mouses, some of them, from the middle, and then 1 mouse toward the 1 cap and other tanks. So the mouses from the middle cannot be killed that fast, and then they shoot those tanks that are spotting in the back, and they are not protected by anything. And considering that mouse has like 490 average alpha, as far as I remember, that's a huge punch because he can easily hit about 500.
So lots of blind shots coming out here at the moment, trying to see if they can get spots and any more connections with anyone. Zafarchik is actually quite far forward for his team there at A4, sitting in the bush. As we see the rest of Kazna crew's tanks just hovering around this F area. Karibari did get hit on the tracks, but there's been no damage there. And at the moment, Kazna crew have still to play their hand as such for GoHard, and GoHard are just happily to sit back as they're the defending team, and they have the advantage here on match point.
It's not only that they have advantage. If they actually venture toward Kazna, somewhere in a city, they can easily fall in a trap and lose the game in an instant. They know that very well, so they're not gonna risk something like that. They have to actually play reactionary here. They have to anticipate what will Kazna do and try to deal with it best in that moment and use their superior positions. The funny thing about Ruinberg lately is, yes, you have superior positions as a defender, but considering people are using mouses more and more, and after the patch, I think it will be even more and more mouses here in this map.
More of them for sure, yeah.
Yes, that kind of advantage can be negated. That's what we are witnessing.
Maga's taken a blind shot there as well from one of the tanks that were down at F1. A little bit of track damage there as well, and it looks like some of the Kazna crew tanks are starting to move down through the city, Mojo, and go south, as we can see here on the minimap.
Yeah, it's a mind game of their own. They're leaving 1 mouse, Haiba, here. He'll probably push in one moment over the 1 cap to try to lure GoHard to shooting here and disposition all their guns on that side, while the real push will come from the lower side. The prime target for them will be Kaizo. Kaizo will be actually the key player in this game, because what he tells to his team, and will he survive on time? Will he survive? That's going to be crucial for GoHard.
Kaiser's point of view here as he's looking down to the south area, directly towards where Nexus is, as Diplomat and Call Me Piotr come round behind him. Now, Diplomat and Call Me Piotr both in Mouse as well, Nexus in the 113. Kaizu, I mean, Nexus is playing on this corner, but he's not going to get himself spotted too soon. Stefan covering that middle road area you can see on the minimap at F3 location. Now we're looking from a point of view of Dares, who's sitting in K7 at the very south of the map. He's kind of looking towards Kaizu's area, just waiting for these 2 big, fat, slow, heavy mouse to come round behind him. And here they are.
You expect a spotter somewhere on that line, of course. Either next to that building where he is or somewhere along the road. But let's see. If they spot them before Haiba, that's gonna be a big giveaway. Also, Haiba can be used as a secondary pressure. While the fight starts on the lower side of the battlefield, they can play defensive there. And when most of the forces from GoHard try to commit there, they put Haiba and Vets on a cap up there and pressure from that side. But we can see that Kazna is actually deciding against that. Haiba is moving back completely towards the center. It's gonna be an all-out fight in one moment.
So it's like Kazna crew are going to make a push for base number 2, Mojo?
It certainly looks like that by the look of the map, because there would be no other reason for Haiba to reposition together with Stefan up there. So they left only Vetso to watch their back against the possible rotation that would annihilate them from the back.
Safarchik up there for GoHard. And there's some shots coming out here. Blind fire shots here from GoHard.
No, he spotted.
Haiba spotted, so they've killed his driver already. So Haiba's going to be moving slowly there. He's going to have to roll over the rubble there, expose the front. Can he get any tracking shots or connecting shots with them?
It's far away and it's hard.
And they're holding off at the moment. He is tracked though at the moment. No pens coming through. Now Nexus, Diplomat and Komi Piotr starting to make a move on the south as well. GoHard haven't started to move their tanks back down south from the top at the moment, but they are starting. Annihilator and Coca-Cola any minute now will start coming over, and the pressure is going to be on GoHard in just a few seconds.
GoHard has all the info they need now. They saw Haiba in middle, they saw the mouse is coming from down. They need to do rotations, they know it, and this is the moment when the game will break now. Vetso will try to defend from the back, and the rotation from the 50Bs is coming there. Zafarchik just spotted him. The 50Bs have all the info they need. They know the Kazna is playing from the center and from the lower side.
So Coca-Cola Annihilator still going around the A road there. This is potentially... I don't know if we're going to have enough time to get involved here properly, Mojo. I'm worried that the rest of the tanks are going to take a truck ton of damage. As we see Maga getting shot at again. Vetso is ammo racked at the moment as shots go back into him. Now, how long can the remaining tanks here of GoHard survive in this town area?
They need to keep a fight against these mouses, and they can track them as the best they can. But Nexus is also there, Haiba is there, Stefan is rotating from the back. GoHard will try to muster up most of the forces there and strike them from the back, I guess. But this is not the best position for them. Only 4 tanks up against this amount of HP. Focus
fire there going into Diplomat. We see Kaizu taking a truck ton of damage. As you said already, Mojo, he'd be one of the key players here, needs to survive. Now, damage going back out. Kaizu's having to hide behind that building, hug it for his life, as Annihilator and Coca-Cola are being led on a merry chase through the town by Vetso. The Vetso's keeping them out the fight at the moment, and this might be a bit of a misplay from GoHard because the rest of the tanks are going to fall, although the fight is very static at the moment.
I think they should have kept 1 tank at least to snipe from that A5, A6 position. He would keep Haiba occupied quite a lot. Now GoHard has to desperately push in here. I mean, yes, Zafarchik is sniping from the side, but that's kind of a mosquito hits, you know?
GoHard continue to take damage as Karibari and Failware receiving shots at the moment. There's a crossfire. Komi Piotr's down to 1 shot in his mouse. He goes down now. It looks like GoHard might be getting their guns back in action here, but Nexus gets a kill on Maga. Haiba has his rear end exposed here to Annihilator, who's getting shots into. Haiba's now on a 1 shot, but Karibari in return for GoHard is on a 1 shot, and I just don't think GoHard have enough HP to trade here with Kazna crew. I think chasing that tank through the city has probably cost them this round.
This is a very bad situation for them. Nile actually has to ram Stefan at the moment. Why did he stop? Oh dear. Like, he will pick up another shell and he will have something to clip in, but Failware and Zafarchik, they are going to die. Even if they lose Grilla, it doesn't really matter because this is going to tiebreaker.
So now all we have left is Zafarchik farming damage on what remaining tanks he can see and get shots into. Side armor there of Nexus. Diplomat still has all the HP left in his mouse. He shoots across. Zafarchik still surviving, but took a hit there. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know why GoHard would have chased that Batchat like that.
Well, they needed to secure that line, but as said, I think they should have really left 1 tank more to snipe from that A5, A6 position. Also, why did they play such a light setup against Kazna? I mean, Kazna can take mouses and do something on their own also. Like, now you have Zafar, who has to charge in with his light tank against all these guys. Diplomat, all he needs to do is to sit like a boss on the top of this road and just see from which side is Zafarchik coming in.
Zafarchik starts to make his move. Diplomat will spot that quite easily and get the killing shot. Now, I mean, Kazna crew did well. They stuck together coming in from the south of the map. They were able to just focus down GoHard tanks one after the other. Zafarchik still coming in. Is he going to get the reset? Kazna going to stay in cap? Nope, they're going to stay in the cap and out cap GoHard in return. It's all square 4-4. We are going to go to a tiebreaker, and that tiebreaker is going to be Muravanka. Now, we know for a fact that the quickest round was on GoHard, on Ghost Town, and that was a defensive round, however, was it? No, it was an attacking round, because Kazna crew were attacking first on Ghost Town. So it was
I think we had that game with like 2.5
yeah.
minutes something, so GoHard might pick a side here. But important for us here to know, Muravanka is something that Kazna actually has under their control. so they have an advantage here. They haven't lost a single game yet in the season. 8 games played, 100% win rate, but while GoHard played only 2 and won 1 of them, so 50%. Okay, GoHard is the fastest attack.
Fastest attack on Ghost Town easily, by far,
Yeah.
yeah. It was about 2.5 minutes.
So they will pick a side here, and we will see what will it be. I don't like how GoHard played the defense here, as well as I didn't like the defense of Kazna. I think both of them were too, let's say, light and spread out for current meta. And a team like GoHard that played so heavily in attacks with mouses should have been aware of that and maybe positioned better. Their reaction on the city was not always also the best. Too many tanks committed right there.
Yep, let's have a look at the stats and the damage. Failware coming top damage there, nearly 3k. Dare's doing nearly 3k and his batch at tier 9 in that fight. Then Stefan with the Gorilla, 2.7. Diplomat, 2.7 with the Mouse. Annihilator, 2.6, 50B. Then Nexus, 2.3. 113. Now, GoHard are going to be defending on Muravanka. They're taking the defense. I would say that's perhaps the right thing to do here. It forces the pressure onto Kazna crew, but Kazna crew are the masters on Muravanka of cleaning out forests. But I mean, that's still to come. This is Ruinberg here, and Kazna crew, very well done actually to come back into this one. They were around down there against GoHard. GoHard were sitting on match point, and I don't know. It was really frustrating to watch that from the 250Bs, because you said they need to come back into it, and instead they took the longest way possible to actually get into the fight.
I just think they should have left one of them.
Yeah.
And snipe the middle all the time, because it was logical that Haiba will press forward once they see anyone in the city and pressure toward the tanks up. So if they had that 50B trenched up, in the bushes up, they would have side shots all the time. And those guys that are up could maybe fall a bit back from the village. If they are chased from their side, he would have connecting shots, and you would still have a guy on 100% HP who can maybe move away and play important part in the next part of the game.
They had Safarchik as well, so you could have just sent the RU and a 50B after that bat chat.
They were scared because there was also a grille, so there is possibilities and possibilities.
Yeah.
At one moment, someone just brought a wrong choice.
Yeah.
It was a split-second choice, and that was it.
Yep, it was unfortunate for GoHard, but hey, they still have potential to get the win here from Kazna crew. Kazna crew, 4th tiebreaker in a row now that they've
Unbelievable.
played. Starting to become the tiebreaker kings in the CIS region. I believe it was Navi who played like something like 5 tiebreakers.
We had this in the last season, if you remember. Swift actually had 5 tiebreakers in a row.
I mean, Kazna crew, it's insane. Is it that they're doing well, struggling when they're doing low, or is it the other teams are? I mean, it has gone match for match right now. It's been tied across every map. No team has taken advantage. Everyone's won a round each map.
Of course, the good thing here, I would say, every of these teams actually deserves a point, at least.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
this kind of battle. It's hard to go with 5-3 after such a struggle.
When you go 1 for 1 on every map, you kind of deserve the point, because then you're okay, you're down, then you're back up, and then if you take that one, then that's cool. But then they come back into it. If you're constantly the one that always loses the first round, then it's like, come on, like, you know.
I would say, in a way, both of these teams actually are profiting in this, because after this, I mean, at the moment, GoHard has 20 points, Kazna has 17, so Kazna cannot really catch up to GoHard, so it's good for GoHard, even if they lose here in tiebreaker. On the other hand, they will still keep a tail to Ding, GoHard, even if they get only 1 point. Ding has 22, so they will be only 1 below. If they get 2 points, they will equal again. So no matter what, both of the teams will be partially at least satisfied with the result.
And you have, I mean, we saw it yesterday. Both teams went for an all-in on the cap and got wrecked for it.
Muravanka was one of the fastest ones I've ever seen in my life.
Utopia, Ding, and Utopia were defending. They tried to rush in, and Ding just totally obliterated them in the crossfire.
It was a very short game.
Yeah. So now, do you think to yourself, is this going to be what happens between Kazna and GoHard? Or one of the teams, the defensive team, just going to say, you know what? Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it and try and get this one done quickly.
You don't have to go over the cap and do that. I mean, that was pressured move because Ding was going there, but you can go always as a defender. We've seen multiple times that they know to rush the forest or the middle part of the map and just try to deny the enemy from the start like that. But of course, we cannot really go into the minds of these people. First, we would need to see the lineup of the tanks that they will choose to play. Also, that is the factor that we haven't really seen GoHard play in a long time on this map.
Yeah, true. I mean,
So
they did get
I
surprised
really-
sometimes on it last season.
You can say that maybe this is also a map that they train less, because this is a potential tiebreaker map, and you are, of course, more training for those that you think you will play.
Yeah.
And this is like, if it happens, it happens. That can also leave consequences, because if they don't really have a prepared tactics for it, they might try to snatch out something hastily.
Yes. Now, I mean, if you can get that quick rush, if you can get like maybe 1 or 2 tanks out of the battle quickly, and not something like a scout, but maybe a damage dealer like a Batchat, then it can have a big impact on that battle. But
If you don't
it's
have
hard.
a plan,
I mean,
if you don't have a plan, it's better to rely on a free play and a possible chance than to try to dig up and just get shot to pieces from the guys that are ready for it.
A Muravanka definitely. I mean, it's a hard one to call. Sometimes the defending team just take a 1390, sit them in the bush, and just run the clock down. And then usually the attacking team gets to about 4 minutes. They're like, okay, we need to make a move now. And about 80% of the time they get wrecked, and 20% of the time they force a team fight and win it.
Interesting part is you did an interview with Vetso, and he already said he thinks it's very possible that it will end up here in tiebreaker.
Yeah.
That actually says that Kazna has something prepared for it.
Possibly a little surprise in their pocket. They could just go,
At least something
didn't see this
trained
coming.
specifically for that. Because this is those breaking moments now in season when some teams are separating from each other. Now we already know that Kazna is highly in points high up together with GoHard, but you want to be in top 2 teams and skip playoffs, because playoffs are a high gamble. So top 2 teams, 1 and 2 in the league by points, will go straight to the season finals here in Katowice, but the teams from position 3 to 6 will play each other for the remaining 2 spots. And it doesn't matter then, do you have 1 point or 100 points?
Yep.
It's just going to affect the seeding. You will have equal chance, because it will just be 1-on-1.
You can go from being 6th place in the league to being here in Katowice
And winning
playing
the
against
season.
players on the land and winning the season. Kazna crew, they've said themselves, every time they got through to the land, every time they got through to season finals, they never did it from being 1 or 2. They always did it by getting into playoffs. They were either 3rd or 4th.
Best example is when they were in Sofia. They were number 6 in season. They qualified 1 point above the team below them. 1 point. And they came as complete outsider, and they took the 1st place. So yes, these kind of things happen. Then they had a season in Cologne and they ended up 2nd behind Wombats. Still, they came as a 6th again there, I think. And they won the 2nd place. And they should have actually won the 1st one. They had 4-1 against Wombats, and they lost it. So
Yeah, and
whatever.
I mean, it's something that Haiba said before when I've been speaking to him in live interviews. He said that you know, we don't do it. We don't. It's something we need to try and work on next season, is to get that 1-2 spot, to get it safe. But we do have information that the lineups are ready here for Muravanka. So let's see the vehicles that the teams are going to be bringing and try and work out the tactics that might be used here, Mojo.
This is something Kazna played many times. Object for 30. It usually tells us they're going to mainly position toward the top cap. Batchats for rotation, TVP for cover, and E5 for frontal push when they need it, so they can proxy those defensive hills of GoHard. GoHard on the other side playing Kranwagen. They can position him in red line probably, but also toward the cap. Ru for fast spotting, interesting choice here. So not a 1390, which is much better static spotter. And then they have E5 and Batchats. It's gonna be, I think GoHard is heavily relying on rotation here. How will they play it?
Yeah, it's certainly, they've got the 4 Batchats, Kazna crew taking 3 Batchats, and then a tier 9 Batchat. Kranwagen against TVP, 2 E5s. Object 430 version 2 can be a real pain in the butt to get through frontally sometimes.
No, it's mainly because when he angles, his tracks are the biggest problem. Frontal, yeah, you can pen him, but when he side scrapes, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And the hard turret he has, that's not something you want to try to shoot.
Yeah, if he's in some kind of defilade. Now, RU on GoHard for their spotter, I mean, it's probably more of an active spotter than a passive spotter, do you reckon?
I believe that even if they try to do something like a counter attack, they're gonna use him something similar like on Prokhorovka. You can always charge an RU in front, see where the clippers are, and then charge in with Bachats.
Okay, so it's all square here at 4-4. Who's going to win this match? Well, let's find out because it's a tiebreaker now on Muravanka.
Muravanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Okay, now Kazna crew, red team attacking, GoHard, blue team defending. Kazna crew going quite aggressive here into the forest, Mojo.
They're sending totally a lot of tanks there, unexpected, because they know that GoHard is expecting them to play toward that upper area, which is their natural play for those tanks they have. Theirs is doing rather risky spots here, and he's now running away. GoHard playing rather aggressive. You can see how their positions are going, Zafarching with RU. Maybe that RU tank that they took was really a big giveaway for Kazna. Look at Maga getting in trap.
Maga just driving out into the open air. Focus fire coming in from Kazna crew immediately. And GoHard have already lost Maga, and they're about to lose Failware, and this could already be over, Mojo. They've just lost two of their back chats for absolutely pretty much nothing in return.
It's really a big nonsense that they ended up there. I would say even a great misplay, and they deserve to lose this map like this. I mean, if they didn't spot a single person up on a map, why were they positioned toward the lower side of the forest?
You send your entire team up other side of the map, they see nothing, so of course the guys in the middle are going to be there. Like,
I will also say, Weiser is still there. Like, he should have ran away also. The moment there was a contact with two Bachats there, he was supposed to move away, so he is not get caught. He is not caught, and there is no balance in the game. But balance on Mighty is coming in. If they take out theirs now, there is a theoretical way for GoHard to come back into the game, but it's very hard. It's really very hard. After this kind of loss, it's really very hard.
Gisne and Stefan on the cap circle. Haiba's going to go in there and triple cap pressure so that GoHard have to come here and counter it. Ders is going to go down here. He's going to get another shot into Kaizu. Now, GoHard, what can you do here? Because you've been totally out-rotated here by Kazna. I have no idea what the tactic was there, but now you have no coverage whatsoever on base 2. You're going to have to rush it or you have to blind fire it. But you're down two back chats already. It's pretty much a done deal here.
Zafarching coming from this side to spot, because Nexus left those positions, it actually might pay away, but look at this, 7 seconds. Will he be on time? It's really, really, really risky. 3, 2...
There's the reset and the kill. Annihilator getting the kill on Haiba. Coca-Collapse in return. He was the one coming forward in E5. It's been focused by the tanks of Kazna crew. Now Zafarchik is able to back off. He's taking damage. Karibari is taking a whole load of damage as well from GoHard. GoHard are still in it, but they really need to start focusing down tanks of Kazna crew and vitally not taking damage back in return themselves.
I don't think GoHard can do anything more. Actually here, the only guy with HP here is Annihilator. That's the Kranwagen. That's not the fastest tank. It's just a cooldown tank, and he's going in reload right now. Zafarchik, once one of the Bachats just gets him for free here because no one can help him, that's gonna be pretty much a big problem for GoHard because they will not have even eyes there. Kaizu and Karibari are on really low HP.
Zafarchik running as far away as he can. He has no additional teammates to be able to cover him. Diplomat has backed off. He's not following him. Now it's 4-on-4 at the moment. Kazna crew do have the vehicle advantage. Gisne's going back in the cap circle just to get additional pressure and draw out GoHard once again. That object 430 could be a pain to try and get through, but I mean, it's still possible here for GoHard, but they lost so much at the start for this.
There is a really small way how to win this for GoHard, but it's a lot of blind play involved. We can see it on a monitor if Zafar was actually rotating on K-line. Does a full push there and they shoot Stefan off. That's a way for them, but they cannot know it. We can.
Yep, and they just don't have the HP to truth it. Karibari's in one shot. Kaizu will take two, he'll go down quickly. Zafarchik is in the RU251. He can't really trade with anything. He can be a pain in the butt, but he's not going to do a massive amount of damage unless he's ignored. Now in return, Kazna have Stefan in the TVP full health. They have Nexus full health in the back chat. Gisne on half health, Diplomat on half health. Now Diplomat goes down, But in return, they've lost as a far check, and still, GoHard have a hell of a lot to do here. A lot of it's going to be on how much damage Annihilator can do for taking little in return.
Well, he has 3 shots remaining, so he's not going to do much more than 1200, which will be about his cap. Then we have Kaizo and Kerry Berry, but look at this, like he has to charge into spot. He's taking so much damage, he has no armor on the sides, and still the only guy he will see is Izne, and Izne is not the most important tank in this game anymore.
Niall having to drive in against Gisne. Okay, but Gisne's behind the wreckage, so Niall can't even get shots in against Gisne. All the time he was taking damage in return. Kaizu and Karibari not in a position to support him as Gisne gets the kill on Annihilator. Karibari and Kaizu are not going to be able to do anything. They were focusing into Nexus, but Nexus is got some shots available to him. Stefan has a full clip waiting for these 2 tanks. Gisne can go and face hug them if he wants as well, and this is a done deal. Kazna crew are going to take this by capping. 1 second left as Nexus gets the kill on Kaizu. And GoHard, I can kind of see what you guys are planning there, but why you would just run 2 tanks through the middle as well? Where were you really expecting Kazna crew to be in that situation?
I mean, Kazna obviously guessed once they saw that GoHard